Thanks for joining us for this lunch and learn kind of webinar in partnership with Dell. I'm supported today by two individuals from Dell. Our partnership with Dell continues to grow year over year. We have the pleasure to be supported here today by Alfonso Caruana. He's an advisory solution architect for Dell EMC, and he's responsible for storage infrastructure across Canada. So he gets involved with customers across the country to help them with their storage decisions in partnership with Dell. And we also have our partner, business manager, Rob Spicer. Rob manages our account as Microserve with Dell in making sure that our sales organization is trained. Our services organization is also able to support the technology that we sell from Dell. So Rob is managing Microserve for our business.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Rob. And me. Most of you know me already. I'm Sylvain Jacob, the VP of Sales here at Microserve. We have a number of Microserve folks on the line as well today. And we're going to talk about storage in the next 45 to 50 minutes. In terms of introduction, I already gave the people that are here to support the conversation today. We're going to talk about some of the challenges that are happening in the marketplace. Data is one thing that is not stopping to grow. We are continuously seeing exponential growth in customers' data environment, and we certainly continue to see that growing in the future as well. So how do we scale? How do we manage the infrastructure to support the needs of our businesses for more data in their environment? So we're going to talk about some of the solutions and a Q&A. We're going to have some time for Q&A at the end. So please type in your questions here in the chat, or at the end, we should have about 10 minutes worth of time to have a little bit of a dialogue with some questions from live question conversations at the end. Let me take my picture off the screen here. Content only. There you go. So this is Microserve services portfolio. I just want to put the conversation here with Dell PowerStore team on how that fits into the Microserve services offering. We certainly need to acquire the technology that you need for your environment. So the IT procurement piece of our business to make sure that you procure the technology that you need for your storage needs is there. Our managed services practice, when we become IT for our clients, we need to support their storage requirements. So, Dell is an integral partner of our managed services practice. Our cloud solution, there's a lot of back and forth between what we do on-prem and what is happening in the cloud environment, and how we manage data across on-prem and via the cloud solution that your companies are managing. So certainly the storage conversation has a link into the cloud solution with Microserve. Backup and disaster recovery, we often talk about, what do we need to back up this information? IT security, how do we secure this data that you have within your environment? And obviously, we've got the data center piece that is integral part of the storage requirements for our enterprise. So I just wanted to put in context the conversation we're going to have with the Dell team for the PowerStore solutions, how that fits into the Microserve services portfolio. With that, I will turn it over to Alfonso for the PowerStore conversation. So Alfonso, if you'd like to take control, thank you.
Does the sound check? Everybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks again for taking the time today for some of you in the lunch or morning time frame. Just a quick bio here. Essentially 18 years at Dell EMC. I'm a legacy EMCer. I have had many roles at Dell, starting with professional services, consulting, and now and in the storage and platform solutions as an advisory solutions consultant, as a storage CI and HCI specialist. Very familiar with the technology and over 25 years in the IT industry. So let's get started. So before we get into the details of the PowerStore overview, I just wanted to make sure that we kind of drive the the reasoning behind the PowerStore and the momentum. So it's been over 2 years, a little over 2 years since we introduced the PowerStore, and we have had very good feedback from customers and partners. And one of the and some of the comments we're seeing is that it's very easy, simple to manage. The data efficiency is phenomenal, and the simplicity of managing it is just top notch as well. And if you look at the journey to building this next generation platform, it is Dell's largest storage architecture in its Dell's history. So and you just look at all the units we booked in the last 2 years, over 9,500 units booked, over 1.9 exabyte of capacity sold, over 27 million running hours in 90 countries. And the most important piece here is 30% of our PowerStore customers are new to Dell. So this is phenomenal in just 2 years. And it doesn't start there. It actually, the journey started way before the Dell EMC merger back in 2015. And it just got enhanced with the Dell merger. So we actually took the time to build this next generation platform to understand customers' challenges, and we understand your challenges. And traditionally, storage arrays were built and making sure we have the data services, but it's not only about the data services. It's a given. We understand you need the optimal performance, but we also make sure your operational needs are met. Automation, intelligence, removing the burden on the complexities of traditional storage arrays. And we want to make sure we have a simple operation model. We continue to stay continuously modernized and innovate without limits in the future. So these are the main points for this platform, and you'll quickly see the benefits of the PowerStore platform. So let's get started. So essentially, we have 3 pillars we're going to be focusing on: data-centric, intelligent, and adaptable. We're going to be double-clicking on each one of these. Let's start off with the data-centric. So we built a platform, the PowerStore, specifically to address any type of workload in your data center, whether it's physical, virtual, containers, file, you name it, we support it. And we optimize for performance. We're making sure we're able to have a scale-up and scale-out solution with end-to-end NVMe, which is the next generation protocol. And also making sure we have the most efficient without compromise, making sure we have the data reduction capabilities and the efficiency without compromising performance. So let's double click on any workload. So today we want to make sure anything, we know you have a vast majority of applications within your data center, both rational databases, ERP, medical records, cloud native, content repositories, home directories. We know that there's a vast applications within the data center, and this platform basically supports any type of applications you have in the data center. And in terms of connectivity, whether it's fiber channel iSCSI or next generation TCP over IP, NVMe over TCP, or file with NFS SMB, we're there to support any type of connection, whatever drives your application, and continue to support both application databases, vVols, containers, and file. Any questions? Excellent. So
far, no questions in the chat, Alfonso. We're good.
Excellent. So we talked about optimize for performance, and this is critical, right? So at Dell, we continue to drive architecture matters. Not all flash arrays are made the same. We continue to drive active controllers. And what that means is that both controllers are serving I/O, both controllers are online, There's not one being not on standby or dormant. Both controllers are active, both serving IOs for optimal performance. And when you think about the data services within an all-flash array, you have thin provisioning, data at rest, encryption, you have data reduction, local and remote replication. You need the second controller. You need all controllers to work in optimized fashion. We continue to drive end-to-end NVMe. So we have the backend that's supporting next generation protocol, which is NVMe, both on the backend and the front end. And we support both NVMe flash or next generation media, which is storage class memory. We continue to drive the 6 nines availability. And if you compare this to our Unity XT platform, it's 7 times faster and 3 times lower latency. We did introduce, we constantly innovate and providing updates in terms of the software with PowerStore. We're just by doing a simple software upgrade, we're able to continue to increase the performance of the PowerStore platform. So one of the benefits here is unique to Dell, and the PowerStore is to both scale up and scale out. So what that means is essentially we're able to scale up by adding disks or enclosures up to supporting up to 2.8 petabytes effective, or scale out by adding up to having up to 4 appliances or 8 active controllers in the cluster. So in this, essentially, we're able to independently scale compute and storage independently within the cluster. So what this means, we're able to add appliances within the cluster, all managed by the central PowerStore GUI. Any questions?
So far, we're still all good.
Okay.
Excellent.
So Alfonso, does this mean that if you have a high IOPS, low latency application, we could actually scale the cluster nodes without scaling a lot of the disk trays to increase that IOPS? Is that really how this works?
So, and this is a perfect example right here. So in this case, we have a cluster of 4 appliance cluster up to 8 nodes. So we actually have application segregation within each appliance. So one of them is focused, the PowerStore 5000 here. Its main purpose is for Oracle consolidation. The next appliance is more for VMware rich services. The PowerStore 1000 is for high capacity, and the fourth one here, the 9000, is for ultra high performance. So yes, we can definitely scale out by increasing performance. So we can certainly start small. So today, if you're not aware of what the future brings, and you have merger and acquisitions, you see more applications being onboarded within your data centers, you can seamlessly grow the cluster non-disruptively and dynamically as well. Yeah. One thing to note is, I'm not sure if you're following the industry trends, but this is a big one. So the introductions, we were the first to introduce support for NVMe over TCP with the PowerStore 2.1. Essentially, if you're familiar with fiber channel topology, fiber channel has always been the robust and most performant protocol in the industry. But now with TCP, NVMe over TCP, this brings this protocol at even strength. So basically, there's no overhead anymore. The performance of both protocols are pretty much the same. And now with the introduction of 100 gig Ethernet, this will leap bounds with performance increase with NVMe over TCP. So for anyone planning any future connectivity, just make sure you factor this in, and it's future-proof investment with the PowerStore. Quick note here, VMware 7 Update 3 supports this, and Red Hat as well. So the 2 big operating systems fully support NVMe or TCP. One of the major functionalities is the always-on data reduction We have a 41 data reduction guarantee, and this is again unique. We have a hardware assist. We have a dedicated Intel quick assist chip technology that takes care of the compression. So basically, rest assured, there's no performance impact by data reduction being enabled all the time. Storage performance is never compromised. And we have the 41 data reduction guarantee. And what that means is that the data has to be in native reducible format. And if we cannot achieve 41, we'll provide some remediation. So this is very unique in the industry as well. So one of the key features is we kind of brought the enterprise, what we typically see with enterprise storage, into a mid-range package. So we continue to have a non-disruptive features with both. We continue to drive architecture matters with the active controller, both controllers serving I/O. We're able to have the non-disruptive migrations. Once we have a scale-out configurations, we're able to move data non-disruptively between appliances, and it removes the operations overhead, and any capacity expansions and hardware upgrades, software or hardware, are all non-disruptive. In terms of resiliency, every component is redundant. We have dual-ported NVMe drives, super fast rebuilds, and I'll be getting some of the details about that. And we have the cluster high availability. So basically, because we have a scale-out capability, we're able to have the cluster type feature set within the scale-out configuration and protect it. So we have a unique in the industry, the dynamic resiliency engine. So that basically builds a logical RAID on top of your disks. And some of the benefits with this is every disk is part of the pool. There's no standby hot spares. There's no traditional RAID groups you need to configure. Every disk is part of the pool, which optimizes performance and also optimizes rebuilds. And we are the only vendor that does single drive increments. We no longer need to expand the pool with increments of 24 or 8 or whatever your RAID group size is, but the single drive increments for the life of the product. And we continue to drive the 6 nines availability with the PowerStore. Just a quick comment here on the data resiliency engine. If you compare traditional RAID, you have dedicated spares, fixed RAID groups. Once you align those fixed RAID groups, you have to expand them by increments of 8, 24, whatever that RAID width is. With the PowerStore, with DRE, the dynamic resiliency engine, everything is dynamic. There's the RAID, the pool's already created for you. Once you define your RAID width, everything is done dynamically configured. There's no more tweaking of adding disks and pools, and this is or creating fixed RAID groups. Everything's done by the PowerStore OS. Expansion is single drive expansion, like I said, is supported, and making the rebuilds all much quicker. And we support both dual parity and single parity configurations. We get into the intelligence. So we look at the intelligence side. We have the programmable infrastructure. We develop and automate workflows. We have the autonomous appliance. We have the built-in ML and machine learning, optimizes system resources, and we have the proactive health analytics. And we'll get into these topics a little in the next couple slides. So if you look at the programmable infrastructure, we all know that enabling automation for DevOps is is important to everyone. So essentially, making sure we have the cloud-like operations. So whether you have a VMware ecosystem with VRA, VRO, we provide you with the service workflow scripts. Whether you have Kubernetes environment, we have the container storage interface plugin that allows you to direct have persistent storage within your Kubernetes environment. The Ansible, if you prefer an Ansible provisioning, we provide you the playbooks to do end-to-end provisioning, and we have a full REST API. So this basically eliminates a lot of the manual steps today that you see today in traditional storage arrays. We provide you with the scripts and the sample playbooks for provisioning end to end. In terms of VMware integration, I mean, obviously our brothers and sisters at VMware, we continue to drive and work together to optimize the VMware integration within our platform. So the key integration points is we have VAI and VASA integration. We have the vVols, which is embedded. The VASA is embedded within the appliance, and there's no external embedded VASA appliance required. We have the VRO, VROps we talked about before, and then we have the VMware Cloud Foundation. And this is it's fully validated for principal or secondary storage for VMware Cloud Foundation. And we also have the end-to-end VMware operations within the PowerStore GUI. We also talked about the appliance being autonomous, and this is where the ML and the machine learning comes to play. So the PowerStore GUI has built-in machine learning. So we talked about driving the simplicity of managing this appliance, this next generation platform. It allows us to, sorry about that. I clicked too much.
You have the back button. Oh, you got, okay, you got
it. Yeah, I got, yeah, sorry about that. So
no
here we have the machine learning capabilities within the platform. And this is unique. Again, we can do the scale up by adding disk and scale out by adding appliances, and we always continuously monitor system efficiency. So in a scale out configuration, we're able to continuously monitor the performance of LUNs or volumes being defined, and we actually provide you recommendation where would be the best suited for this LUN. This is still controlled by the operator, but we provide you recommendations and you have to just approve it. So the other thing about this autonomous appliance, there's no more manual. So with the scale out capabilities, once you add that second appliance in the cluster, it's an orchestrated. Within 3 clicks, you can add the appliance. There's no more manual creating aggregates or RAID groups. This is all, once you add the second appliance, assign the IP addresses, everything gets dynamically discovered by the PowerStore GUI. So it really removes a lot of the operational overhead for your IT staff. And the Cloud IQ, if you're not familiar with Cloud IQ, this is something really game changer. So it is what we call a health score for your storage array. We basically support all our storage products, supports Cloud IQ. It provides basically a health monitoring tool or a Fitbit health for your storage. So there's nothing to install. It's cloud-based. You can run this on your iPhone or mobile phone or HTML interface. It actually provides you a health score, and you know very quickly, if something's wrong with your storage array. Whether you could also plan ahead. It tells you when you're about to run out of space. It actually tells you if you have any connectivity problems with your host. Very quickly, dynamically alerts you for these type of events. And very quickly also reduce risk. There's a very quick and easy feature called you can identify performance anomalies of a specific workload and actually alerts you for that. One of the recent feature sets of Cloud IQ, we actually integrate, we have the Cloud IQ has a REST API and a webhook interface that interfaces with your ServiceNow. So any alerting that happens on Cloud IQ, you can send it to your ticketing, whether it's ServiceNow. We have the hooks to integrate alerting to your ServiceNow environments. So this is just the family, PowerStore family. So we start with the small 500 and we go until the 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, 9,000. And you can notice here, the only thing that changes here is the CPU model and the cache. Everything else remains the same. So we basically, in terms of I/O modules, we support 32 gig fiber channel along with 2510 gig interfaces and 10/1 for gigabit base T. like I said, we're able to expand up to 4 appliances in the cluster, and we're able also to expand up to 3 enclosures within an appliance. Any questions?
We do actually, Alfonso. Maybe at some point in time in your presentation, you can give a perspective around how does PowerStore relate to the compellent storage family. I think these are 2 separate families, but I'd like you to maybe give a perspective to the audience. You know, what's the difference between the PowerStore family versus the compellent family?
Just quickly, so the Compellent is a very solid platform. It's been around Dell's history for a while, so it does still have its use case. But the major difference is the scale out up to 4 appliances, and it's built from the ground up with NVMe end to end with next generation protocol. So and you know, this drives more consolidation. So because we're able to support the next generation flash drives and next generation front end ports with NVMe, this drives more consolidation, and we can scale performance as required. We can do that to some level with the SC array, but it really, you know, it was really built on data progression. So we with the Compellent, there was a feature called data progression, but essentially it would reside on mirrored disk technology and then trickle down to spinning disks. So the PowerStore is strictly all flash and really optimized for next generation technology. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Ken, if that answered your question, great. If not, just give us if you can come off mute or wait at the end, that'd be fine.
Yeah. So Ken, one thing to consider is your SC array today, and I believe you have some. Are they hybrid arrays with both flash and spinning disk? If so, because what we're seeing with PowerStore is that given the capacity of the units, we're saving a vast number of rack units. We recently worked with a project with a customer where it was identical configurations between PowerStore and a hybrid Unity array, and we saved 21 rack units of space. So you take that times what, $100 a month per rack unit, you know, average cost. So it could be, you know, quite the savings for you to consider.
Sounds
good point. The efficiency, storage efficiency is a big player. With the data inline data reduction guarantee, we have quick assist technology. That's another big feature that PowerStore has over SC.
Yeah, thank you very much for the input. We just getting close to like maximizing our compellent. And from when I talked to my system admins, they said that like we can't expand anymore, so we might be looking into like some other solution somehow to kind of like replace or like extend
continue
our
grow.
data.
Or continue
so
grow.
Like I just want to see like what kind of what PowerStore actually give us, or like in terms of, well, probably more like at least I want to see whether is it the same kind of level of storage solution, or we're talking about something completely different, and it's not something targeting for replacing compellent, right? In terms of like budgeting or performance, or you know.
Yeah, essentially your question, Ken, is should you replace your whole compelling infrastructure, or should you continue to grow with PowerStore?
Roughly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, if it's something we can take offline, because it all comes down to, we can certainly reduce your footprint and consolidate a majority of your SC compellents. And it all comes down to workload sizing. So I can certainly assist with that that effort if required.
Yeah, that definitely. Well, even at the time being, it's just like is a very early stage, so I just want to see what products available altogether, and try to plan ahead.
Sure, and like we see here, we have plenty of platforms, so we have many options that can suit your budget. So if you want to schedule some time, we can definitely look at your workload and see which platform is the best fit for you.
Yeah, I think that's a key takeaway for us.
Yeah,
we could talk about it later. And
yeah, for sure. Okay. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. And last but not least, adaptable. So we want to make sure that you have a flexible architecture, and we're able to innovate and stay continuously modern. We want to have flexible deployment and maximizing for modern edge to the core, to the cloud deployment models, and as well as the flexible consumption. So we talked about PowerStore. We actually built it from the ground up. It's based on the next generation storage stack. It's 100% based on container-based architecture, and this allows us the flexibility to continue to innovate very quickly. So in the last 2 years, we've updated. We had 2 major releases, many minor releases, and this is because it's driving the container-based architecture. We're able to provide new features, functionality, fixes because it's container-based. And this basically it's a modular design, so every feature, for example, for the file, we have a software-defined NAS container. If we have any specific feature sets or enhancements, we don't have to wait till the whole OS has to be packaged together. We can send out specific feature sets enhancements with the specific, in this case, SD-NAS. So we have the consistent services across platforms, and just makes it a lot easier for future code upgrades. And we also have a few deployment models. So we have the PowerStore T model, and this is a standard deployment model. So today it's very traditional storage array approach. We have 2 controllers. The storage OS is built into the controllers, and essentially we just provision hosts, and whether it's iSCSI or Fiber Channel, and we treat this as a traditional storage array, with the container-based OS. But we also have industry first PowerStore X. So the PowerStore X is really what we call the hypervisor deployment model. So it actually, the hypervisor, VMware hypervisor, lives on the controller itself, and we have the PowerStore OS living on a VM. So basically, we abstract the storage OS within the VMware hypervisor, and there's specific use cases for this. So we know that Edge is going to be a big player in the next couple of years, and it really has specific use cases where you have less compute intensive applications and more data intensive demanding workloads. You have your VMs living within the controller. This is first in the industry, and it's very unique, and it does have certain use cases, specifically for robot offices or anything that has large demanding workloads with a very minimal compute. I'm just going to build this out here. Sorry about that. So essentially, we also have the PowerStore also includes the multi-cloud integration. So if you're planning a journey to the cloud, we can extend both to the edge, to the core, to the cloud, and both having leveraging VMware with Cloud Foundation, or leveraging any cloud services to the public cloud providers. We also have the anytime upgrade feature. This is, again, industry uniqueness. So we have the anytime program is part of the continuously modern storage, and it actually eliminates the end of the data migration era. So basically, once you decide to move your data to the PowerStore, you never have to worry about data migrations or any forklift type of migrations again. So we have this anytime upgrade program that we have the data in place upgrade. Both to next generation or the next platform above, we never have to worry about upgrades again. You're future-proofing your investment with the PowerStore with supporting next gen or next available platform model. Anytime in the contract, there's no renewals, there's no this to purchase, and we also have the scale out because we're able to scale out. Let's say you don't need the second generation or the next level up. You want to grow and expand within the cluster. We'll provide you a credit on the second appliance and grow. In terms of migration, so once you decide to move to a PowerStore, we definitely have the platform has native seamless migration. It's all orchestrated within the PowerStore GUI. Essentially, we support the Extreme IO Unity, SC, VNX, and the PS series. Excuse me. So we basically we have the capabilities to import the data and then bring up the servers and onto the PowerStore, and it's all orchestrated within the PowerStore GUI. Last but not least, we have the future-proof program. The future-proof program, this obviously you want some sort of guarantee. So we have the 41 data reduction guarantee. We have the 3-year satisfaction guarantee. If we're not happy with the platform or it doesn't meet your needs, we're certainly able to fix it or address your concerns. And also the anytime upgrade. That's the quick overview. I just want to make sure that this next generation platform is really designed for the next generation, the next data era. Making sure we continuously stay modern, innovate without limits, and keeping it very simple to operate. I just wanted to just go over one last slide here, and I'm not sure if Sylvain, you have this in your slide, but we do have the tools. So Microserve does have the tools to help you assess your current workloads. We have Live Optics. We also have Hands-on Lab. If you're familiar with VMware Hands-on Lab, we have Dell Hands-on Lab, and we pretty much have all our portfolio in there, PowerStore included. And if you want to, if you need any additional deep dive sessions on PowerStore, feel free to reach out to Microserve. And last but not least, the Dell Technologies World is in a couple weeks. Registrations are open, both virtual or physical, and it's a good opportunity. You'll see some additional feature enhancements or new product updates in the next couple weeks as well.
Yeah, and we do have quite a bit of experience, and we do live optics assessment with customers with our professional services team for sure.
Yes. I'm just open to questions now. Anything I didn't address? Any questions? Any items?
This is the moment where you can either come off mute or post your question in the chat. I do have a question here for you, Alfonso. Can you just review again the scale up and scale out? What does that mean, scale up and scale out architecture?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very common question. Let me see if I can find the slide, but essentially that means is that you can start small today. If I can find
there's the up and then there's the out. What is the difference between the two?
Yeah. Let me just find the slide so we have a visual.
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, scale up is by adding disks. So we talked about scale up is basically adding disks to the existing appliance. So if you can start small today. Let's say you need, 50 terabytes, and you have a need to expand. We can expand into the existing appliance by adding single drive increments, or we can also add up to 3 enclosures in single drive increments. The scale out is by adding another appliance in the cluster. So
I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Good stuff. Well, if there's no other questions, we'll turn everybody back to their productivity in their day, and really appreciate your presence here today to join us. Hope you saw value in this conversation. Feel free to reach out to your account manager from Microserve to have further discussions around your data storage requirements going forward. Thank you very much, everybody. I'd like to wish you a great long weekend.
Yeah,
Bye,
have an
everyone.
awesome long weekend, everybody.
So.
Cheers.
Bye-bye, everybody.